Have you ever wondered how the mighty Roman Empire, which once dominated the known world, came to an abrupt end? This question has puzzled historians and scholars alike, and today we're going to embark on a journey to uncover the mystery. The Roman Empire, at its zenith, was an awe-inspiring force of power, culture, and military might. Stretching from the sun-baked sands of Africa to the frosty forests of northern Europe, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Middle East, it was an empire unparalleled in size and influence. It was a beacon of civilization amidst a world of chaos, a titan that seemed invincible. The Roman legions, the empire's sharp sword and sturdy shield, were renowned for their discipline, organization, and prowess. They marched across continents, conquering lands and people, leaving a trail of Romanized regions in their wake. The Roman Empire was not merely a political and military entity, but a cultural behemoth that shaped the world as we know it today. But all of this begs the question, what led to the downfall of such a powerful empire? How did a civilization that stood as a symbol of power and stability crumble and fade into the annals of history? Was it the result of external pressures, internal decay, or a combination of both? And perhaps the most intriguing question of all, was the fall of the Roman Empire inevitable? These are not questions with simple answers. The fall of the Roman Empire was a complex process that spanned centuries, involving a web of interconnected factors that together led to the decline and eventual collapse of one of history's greatest empires. It's a fascinating and poignant tale of power, ambition, hubris, and the inexorable march of time. And so, in our pursuit of understanding, we will delve into the depths of history, navigating through centuries of triumph and turmoil, glory and decay. Let's venture into the past and unravel the mystery of the fall of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, in its declining years, faced a new threat: the barbarian invasions. In the late 4th century, the empire was stunned by a crushing defeat at the Battle of Adrianople in 378 AD. This was not just any battle, it was a face-off between the Romans and the Goths, a Germanic people who had sought refuge within the empire's borders, only to be mistreated and exploited. Their retaliation was swift and brutal. The Goths, under the command of Fritigern, managed to defeat the Roman army, killing the Emperor Valens in the process. This marked a seismic shift in power dynamics and the beginning of a series of invasions that would chip away at the empire's strength. From the frozen north came the Vandals, the Suebi, and the Alans, crossing the Rhine River into Roman territory in 406 AD. They looted, they pillaged, they burnt cities to the ground. The empire was left reeling, its armies stretched thin, its coffers drained. Then there were the Visigoths, descendants of the very same Goths who had defeated the Romans at Adrianople. Under the leadership of Alaric, they sacked Rome in 410 AD, an event that sent shockwaves through the empire. The Eternal City, once the heart of a vast civilization, was brought to its knees by barbarian invaders. And let's not forget the Huns, led by their fearsome king, Attila. From 451 to 453 AD, they terrorized the Western Roman Empire, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. These invasions were a relentless onslaught that left the empire battered and bruised. They disrupted trade, depleted resources, and caused widespread destruction. But as devastating as they were not the sole cause of the empire's decline. The barbarian invasions were a significant factor, but they were not the only reason for the empire's fall. While external threats shook the empire, internal issues were tearing it apart. The economy of Rome was on the brink of disaster, plagued by a series of crises that would prove to be its undoing. Inflation spiraled out of control, a consequence of years of overspending on wars, public works, and maintaining the lavish lifestyles of the Roman elite. The value of Roman currency dipped sharply, and prices skyrocketed. A loaf of bread which once cost a Roman citizen a single denarius, for example, now cost 10, 20, or even 30. To make matters worse, the Roman government levied high taxes on its citizens to fund its military and administrative expenses. Tax evasion became rampant as citizens struggled to keep up with the rising costs of living. The burden of taxation fell heavily on the middle and lower classes, causing widespread discontent and unrest. The backbone of the Roman economy was its reliance on slave labor. Slaves tilled the fields, manned the workshops, and served in Roman households. However, as the empire expanded, the supply of slaves began to dwindle. This shortage of slave labor forced Romans to turn to free labor, which was more expensive and less efficient, further exacerbating the economic crisis. In the midst of this turmoil, in 395 AD, the Roman Empire was split into the Eastern and Western Roman Empires, a division that was intended to make administration more manageable. However, this division only served to weaken the empire further. The Western Roman Empire, with its decaying cities and dwindling resources, was left vulnerable to barbarian invasions. The Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantium, though more prosperous, struggled to maintain its grip on its territories. This division of the empire, coupled with the economic crisis, created a perfect storm of instability. The once mighty Roman Empire, which had stood unchallenged for centuries, was now on shaky ground. The internal divisions and economic instability left the empire vulnerable, setting the stage for its ultimate fall. And so, with a weakened military, economic instability, and internal divisions, the stage was set for the final blow to the Roman Empire. The year was 410 AD, and the Visigoths, led by their king Alaric, descended upon Rome. The city, once the unconquerable heart of an empire, fell to the marauding Visigoths. The sack of Rome marked a turning point in history, a symbol of the empire's faltering strength. Yet, this was not the end. Rome, though bruised and battered, stood still. It limped on for another 45 years under the shadow of its former glory. However, in 455 AD, another blow was dealt. This time, the Vandals, under King Gaiseric, stormed the city. The sack by the Vandals was brutal, even by the standards of the time. Rome was plundered and stripped of its wealth, its people subjected to horrors unimaginable. These invasions were not just attacks on the city of Rome, but assaults on the idea of Rome, a concept that had held the empire together for centuries. Each sack of the city further eroded the empire's power, prestige, and morale. However, the coup de grâce, the final nail in the coffin of the Western Roman Empire, was yet to come. The year was 476 AD. The last Roman emperor, a boy named Romulus Augustus, sat on the throne. His reign was short-lived. The Germanic king Odoacer overthrew him, sending shockwaves through the remnants of the empire. Romulus Augustus's dethronement marked the end of more than a millennium of Roman rule. In the place of the Roman Empire, Odoacer established his own kingdom, marking the dawn of a new era. The age of ancient Rome had come to an end, making way for the Middle Ages. In 476 AD, the once mighty Roman Empire was no more. The fall of the Roman Empire was not a sudden event, but a gradual decline caused by a series of factors. This is a story that unfolded over centuries, an intricate tapestry woven by the threads of history. We embarked on this journey by exploring the barbarian invasions, waves of migration from the east. The Huns, the Visigoths, the Vandals, and others came crashing into the borders of the once invincible Roman Empire. They were not merely invaders, but people seeking refuge from the turmoil in their own lands. Yet their arrival and integration strained Rome's resources and stability. Next, we delved into the economic crisis that plagued the empire. Rampant inflation, overtaxation, and a reliance on slave labor created an unsustainable economy. The gap between the rich and the poor widened, with the middle class virtually disappearing. Farmers abandoned their lands, and the once flourishing Roman trade network began to crumble. We then turned our attention to the division of the empire. The split into the Eastern and Western Roman empires under Emperor Diocletian was intended to make the vast empire more manageable. However, this division only served to further weaken the already crumbling Western Empire, as resources and attention were diverted to the more prosperous East. Finally, we looked at the final blow dealt by the Germanic invasions. The sack of Rome by the Visigoths in 410 and later by the Vandals in 455, marked the symbolic end of the Western Roman Empire. The deposition of the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustus, by the Germanic king Odoacer in 476 sealed its fate. The fall of the Roman Empire serves as a reminder that no matter how powerful, every empire has its end. It is a lesson from history that continues to resonate even today.